just to solidify your idiotic claims that there is no God, here are few more suggestions to be noted. Create another eye or an ocean in 9 days, or in fact a fly, a fully biologically engineered fly. Since you claim that the science knows that there is no God, ironically, then create a functioning fly with the complete DNA structure encoded in it, and through the entire processes of metamorphosis within 10 days. The challenge here is that the fly has to be created by you lots. Yes, you are allowed to have a team if you want. But here is one problem before you even begin. Bring your own materials. Yes, from outside of this universe. And it has to be not created by the nature. Remember, we discussed that there is no nature as it is the creation itself. You will be disqualified if you dare use anything that exists on this planet Earth. Everything has to be produced and created by yourself, including the primordial atoms. In fact, the air that you need to use to breathe. You cannot use anything that is from this planet Earth and its atmosphere. Got it? Okay, let's get back to the fly. The fly should be able to have similar, or in fact better qualities than the natural flies, since we know that the Almighty created them, but you are denying Him, which clearly means that you are claiming a fact that you know everything as God says. He is the one. He knows what no one knows, and He is the all-knowing, divine, supreme being of power. Your denial and ignorance goes against God's claims that you are better and superior than Him. So show us your powers. Come on. Then we'll talk. Now, since we are done with the ignorance, let these imbeciles do their thing, whilst we serious souls have some serious work to do. The Big Lyrus. At the start of this millennium, the world has seen some gigantic amount of crap that has been orchestrated by the unseen forces of God knows whatever. The media went frenzy over everything. The media went frenzy over everything that was happening, as paid for by the crooks to cause chaos and fear. Let's look at some of the events that are embedded in our memory from the recent past. From the dot-com boom to its collapse, to create the digital currency dependency and take people's freedom of financial stabilities away, more on that later, to the insurance scams and an excuse to control and invade countries with natural resources, enter 9/11, Iraq War, etc., and the making of Amazon and its boom, bringing destruction to the high street, small and independent businesses, only to deprive them of their freedoms, to take control of their monetary and domestic livelihood, to spy on their minds through the blood of innocents. Twin Towers, also known as the Towers of Babylon. Oopsie, did I spill the milk here? And to dismantle the coalition between other countries and to take their sovereignty away, to bring them under the totalitarian government or government, the New World order that plans to take full controls over the living expenses of the masses, through which the modern slavery can be implemented, such as the WHO, the FDA, the CDC, and SAGE. Also including United Nations Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, to bring them under one umbrella, that is the World Bank, and to give the banks legalized thugs the full authoritative controls to grab whatever assets they can, including human bodies. Side note here, you can read historical articles and books on this subject alone, many finance-related academic articles, and the rise of the corporation banks, etc. will all explain the surge in the financial disparity between the poor and the rich. So, they were some of the most important events that shaped and shifted the world, the global economy. The rest of the events followed into creating the empire of the great control over every single country. And they are almost there. And those countries who were not under the influence of the IMF and the World Bank, they were then invaded by the so-called superpower alliances, all in play to destroy their independence by the destruction of the assets and the livelihoods of the people, so that they, the banks in the superpower countries, can then loan the very people they destroyed the looted money, which by default does not exist in reality and is their own money, so that these countries can be fully and only be dependent on none other than Uncle Scam, or Sam, as they say, US&A. And the poor countries, class people, will have no freedom. Once freedom was traded in exchange with security and safety in the past by the leaders of the countries that went to ask for help from the UNO and US&A. In return, the money given by the US&A was through the loans given to the countries by borrowing the money from the IMF and the World Bank. Included in it, the great technological influx of the US&A, the country that is now under the commands of the Nazi Corp. Once the countries took loans, accepted help from the US&A, there was no going back. The final chapter in that scene unfolded after Libya got dismantled. The final big bone in the coffin was removed, and the coffin was ready to be reused. Since then, the surveillance state became the big daddy for the newly enslaved countries, and the people and their lives were traded behind closed doors, well, in front of their eyes, as they were sleeping.